Hey guys, welcome back to MeoMeo Life. For those of you who are new here, this is where we show our appreciation for all cats and all cat lovers by sharing their heartwarming stories that bring out the best in us. Today we'll be sharing a story of a little kitty who just lost his parents and has to learn how to survive on his own. We believe that this video will warm your heart and leave you feeling good. So let's get started. A tiny ginger kitten was born into a loving family of felines. He grew up playing with his siblings and receiving endless affection from his mom. His tiny paws were still too underdeveloped to open the doors and windows to go outside and search for food. She showed him how to hunt for food, climb trees, and stay safe from danger. As weeks went by, they became best friends. All he had was his instincts and the strength of his little legs to take him as far as they could carry him. "Quick hide," Fluffy said, pushing him behind some bushes. "Don't come out until I say so." She then walked out with her back arched and fur standing on end, ready to fight. She led them to a cozy corner where there was a pile of blankets and pillows. "Did you sleep well?" "Did," he replied. "Thank you for taking care of me." "You're welcome, dear," she said. "Now are you ready for some breakfast?" "Yes," he said, his stomach rumbling. She filled up his bowl with food and watched as he ate every last bite. "More?" he asked, but she shook her head. "That's enough for now," she said. They spent their days playing, napping, in sunbeams, and cuddling with their favorite human. The little ginger never forgot the kindness of the old lady who'd taken him in all those years ago. And he always remembered the valuable lessons he'd learned from Fluffy, his brave protector who'd helped him navigate the dangers of the outside world. As the years went by, he continued to grow, not just in size, but in wisdom and maturity as well. He became known throughout the neighborhood as a kind, gentle soul who always had a helping paw for those in need. And though he never did become the ferocious hunter that Fluffy had trained him to be, he was content with his lot in life. After all, he had everything he could ever want: a loving home, loyal friends, and a heart full of gratitude for the second chance he'd been given. You wouldn't want to get a tummy ache, would you? We'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and above all, stay adventurous. "No," he said with a sigh. "I guess not." "Make yourselves comfortable," she said. "I'll be back in the morning to take care of you." And with that, she left them alone. He loved being able to roam freely and explore the surrounding areas without having to worry about danger or hunger. He also enjoyed playing with the other cats and dogs who lived there. They were all rescues just like him, and they welcomed him with open paws. The little ginger curled up on the blanket and closed his eyes. He was finally safe and warm. And as he drifted off to sleep, he couldn't help but purr. "Get away from him," she hissed. The dogs stopped in their tracks. Well, what do we have here?" "A little kitty cat trying to be tough," one of the dogs said. "Yeah, and it looks like she brought a friend," another one added. Her name was Patches, and she had a playful, energetic personality that matched his own. They quickly became friends and started spending most of their time together. The little ginger was overjoyed. He couldn't believe that after all he'd been through, he'd finally found a place where he truly belonged. They started to circle around them, growling and snarling. He loved the way she always had a kind word and a gentle touch. He would often curl up on her lap as she sat in her rocking chair, purring contentedly as she stroked his fur. "Don't worry, I'll protect you," Fluffy said to the little ginger, her eyes flashing with determination. But no matter how brave she was, she knew that they were outnumbered and outmatched. "Run," she whispered to the little ginger. "Run as fast as you can." Without a second thought, he turned and ran. He could hear the dogs barking behind him as they chased after him. He didn't dare look back to see if Fluffy was following. He just kept running. Everything was so big and so interesting. He could see and hear so many things that he couldn't before. He felt so alive. "Over here," Fluffy called out, relieved. He turned and saw her standing on a fence post. He looked up and saw a sign that read, "Beware of dog." "Don't worry," Fluffy said, sensing his fear. "She's really nice. Just don't be afraid." As soon as the old lady opened the door, a bunch of cats and dogs came running out to greet her. "Oh, hello there," she said with a smile. "You must be new around here. Come on in." The little ginger and Fluffy walked inside and were greeted by the sight of bowls filled with food and water. "Help yourself," the old lady said. "And don't worry, you're safe here." The little ginger purred with contentment as he ate his fill. It had been so long since he'd had a good meal. "Thank you," he said to the old lady. "Welcome, dear," she replied. "Now, have you two eaten enough?" "Yes," they said in unison. "Come on," she said. "I found somewhere we can stay for the night." Together, they made their way to an old barn on the outskirts of town. It was dark and dusty, but it was also empty and quiet. "This is perfect," Fluffy said. "We can stay here until morning." As soon as the sun came up, they set off again. Fluffy led him through the city, always keeping an eye out for danger. "Where are we going?" he asked. "I know a place where we can get some food," she replied. "There's an old lady who lives on the outskirts of town. She takes care of all the stray animals in the area. Maybe she can help us find a home." But one day everything changed. Mom and Dad were gone, and he found himself alone in the house without anyone to care for him. What was he going to do now? It's when he saw it. A small table next to the window. It wasn't big enough for an adult cat, but perfect for him to practice his climbing skills. Startled, he looked up and saw a fluffy Persian cat staring down at him. She looked like she owned the place. "Who are you?" he asked. "I'm Fluffy," she replied, "and this is my territory." "What are you doing here?" "I'm just exploring," he said shyly. "I'm not used to going outside yet." "Well, you better be careful. This isn't a child's playground. There are dangers everywhere," Fluffy warned. "Thanks for the advice," he said, "but I have to do this on my own. My mom and dad aren't here to protect me anymore. I have to make my own way in the world." Fluffy looked at him for a moment. "You sure?" she asked. "You seem like a nice guy. Maybe I can help." "Really? Thanks," he said. "That would be great." As a small kitten, he was barely bigger than a teacup. Determined to make something of himself, he looked around the house to see if there was anything he could use to help him get out. It took a while, but eventually he made it to the top. Once outside, the world was his oyster. Then suddenly, meow. A strange sound came from above. So Fluffy decided to take the little ginger under her wing. One day while they were exploring the neighborhood, they came across a group of stray dogs. And he ran until he couldn't run anymore. He was exhausted and scared. Then he heard a familiar meow. As they approached the house, the little ginger could hear the sound of meowing and barking. "Good," she said. "Then let's find you a nice place to sleep. You can stay here as long as you like." The next morning, the old lady returned to find the little ginger awake and exploring his surroundings. "Good morning," she said with a smile. As the days went by, the little ginger began to feel more and more at home at the old lady's house. One day, as he was playing with a group of kittens, he met a beautiful calico cat. As the seasons changed and the leaves began to turn, the little ginger found himself growing more and more attached to the old lady. Then one day, something wonderful happened. The old lady announced that she was going to adopt him, and Patches officially make them part of her family. And so the little ginger and Patches lived happily ever after with their adoptive mother. And that's all for today's episode. If you liked this story, please remember to share it with your friends and family.